Hi, Scott.
Yes.
Just before we get started, I just need you to know that we're actually recording this conversation, and we're going to use it for like a follow-up for our YouTube channel. Okay?
Okay.
Do you remember the other night there we had a conversation?
Of course I do.
All right. How you doing?
You know, maintaining. I'm definitely trying to keep my nose clean, I'll tell you that much.
Well, that's good. So I just had some follow-up questions.
Okay. Fun.
In watching our video, I noticed that you said at the time that you didn't care. Does that remain true, or have you had any kind of reflection? I guess, where do you stand on things now?
Would you please put that in context, the didn't care part?
Well, I said that we were going to, when we're first starting our conversation, I say, I'm sure this is uncomfortable, and you say, I really don't care, actually. You know, you can ask
About what?
away, and, well, just like
Oh,
the whole Lily situation in general, it seemed like you didn't care that we were there to have a conversation with you, because basically what you expressed was you didn't feel really, in your heart of hearts, as though you had done anything wrong. I mean, that's how I took the I don't care part.
I
Did I
see.
misinterpret that?
Well, allow me to elucidate, if I may. I guess what I meant by that in the first place, I did, it's clear that I made some poor judgments there, but because you really can't conduct yourself that way in this world, and but as I said before, I thought I saw a mature, reasonably, a perfectly mature woman who, supposedly says, I'm grown, make my own decisions, and I'm very alone right now, need some nurturing, and I my thoughts were, if someone's reaching out like that, they might need something. But again,
Well,
I'm not gonna argue the point of that it was still a poor choice decision. I've never online dated before, mind you. This is totally within the last 2 weeks or thereabouts. So I'm like really green, and I've been in a relationship with, I think I may have mentioned, for 12 years. It's kind of falling apart,
do
which
you
is,
feel over?
excuse me.
Would you say that that relationship for you is over?
Not entirely, but it functionally is right now. I mean, we're still keeping in certain contact, but I don't think it's what it was. Let's put it that way. And I don't reside there anymore, hence the fact you met me in a hotel.
I see. Well, I guess what I'm getting at here is, I mean, you say that you practice questionable judgment and you feel that you're in need of compassion right now and feeling that maybe this other person, this 13-year-old Lily, may need compassion too. I mean, aside from all that, I mean, you know my take on that. I feel like people need compassion, but it's common sense that it doesn't come from, any kind of sexual talk with a 13-year-old. Um,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
going forward, if somebody told you their age, what would your response be?
It would have to be 18 or older. Absolutely. With no questions whatsoever. I've been chatting with some people online, and just it's sketchy all over the place, and it's just like I've been putting that right front and center, like, you know we can continue if you are of legal age, and
Yeah.
that's kind of right on top of that's right on that's right at the forefront.
Gotcha. I had a couple other questions just in trying to really look at the whole picture on things. You
Okay.
mentioned that you were dying. Was that kind of like was that like a proverbial dying, like not proverbial, but you feel like you're dying inside, or we're all dying, or are you actually dying?
That remains to be seen, sir. I'm definitely having some health issues here, and I may be. I don't really know yet. But I mean, my emotionally, of course, it was definitely multi-layered there. But yeah, I'm in sort of rough shape here. I've been
Gotcha.
reaching out to the medical community, trying to get some help, and failing me.
So counseling, you talking about?
Excuse me?
You said you've been reaching out to the medical community. Were you talking in regards to counseling?
No, I'm talking about like physical health.
Gotcha. And have
Although
you
I did actually,
considered
I'm
counseling?
sorry. I'm sorry. Repeat that. I was speaking of you.
Have you given any consideration to getting counseling?
I certainly have. I've actually been to some counseling. However, I learned just a couple days ago that my insurance is being cut off because of my my arrangement with my,
Were
you
you on
know,
her insurance?
I was.
Gotcha. So I mean, it sounds like this whole thing with Anna is really wrapping up. I mean, do you have a plan to be able to have insurance and to be able to take care of your kind of medical plan?
Well, I did reach out to the people today whom I have my insurance with at this point, to see if they can like point me in the right direction, what to do next to address that. But I didn't get a response yet.
I mean, if I gave you contact information for somebody that deals with, I mean, I'm sure you need a broad spectrum of counseling, to be honest. You know, looking back at this interview, you're all over the fucking map, you know? Just being
What do you
really
mean?
blunt with you. Just being blunt with you. So I think counseling is a good thing, but if I was able to give you information on, like, sex counseling, um, would that be helpful?
Sex counseling.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're talking about eating a 13-year-old's vagina. You're not the only person in the world that's had a fucked up thought like that. So they have counselors that don't judge you. They don't point a finger. They just help you through that, because if that is something that you truly desired, that's pretty fucked up. You must know that that's pretty fucked up. And, you know, it would be good for you to be able to have somebody to talk to about that.
Okay.
I mean,
Truth is, sir. I mean, this as big as this is, as big and it's truly no small thing. But at this point, I've got a little bit bigger fish to fry when it comes to that.
to the counseling aspect.
Yes. No, wait, what? Not
Are you
for sex. No, just counseling in general.
No, that's okay. All right. Do you mind? I mean, I'm just trying to understand you. I feel, you know, obviously I have some preconceived or pre-existing notions, I guess.
Of course.
I like to really, truly try to have a full spectrum thought on somebody. So I guess this is kind of like, I guess this is your chance to really kind of explain yourself. We've been over the Lily part. We know that that was fucked up. And you're saying that you've got bigger fish to fry. What would you say your biggest fish to fry is? And maybe somehow we can get you in touch with somebody that can do some pro bono work.
I don't think that's necessary, and I'd really rather keep my personal business to myself. It's.
I mean, when you say you have bigger fish to fry,
Just let me just allow me to just be general about it. It's basically things along the lines of social anxiety, depression, and um, things that are pretty all-consuming, like that.
I've known a
Hmm.
lot of people that have anxiety, and it certainly can be all-consuming. But I just, when you said that you had bigger fish to fry, I felt like there was going to be maybe a huge issue in your life because, you know, anytime there's a conversation about a 13-year-old's vagina in your mouth, I mean, that is a big thing. And you didn't minimize it. You just said, no, I'm not saying it's small, but you said you had bigger fish to fry. So
Right.
I just said that made me feel like that must be a pretty fucking big fish if it's bigger than having a 13-year-old vagina in your mouth.
You realize I didn't like threaten anyone with violence here. I'm not like trying to minimize it once again or
And
rationalize it, but
any of this?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you talked to Anna about any of this?
Yes, actually I did. I came completely clean with her about her, and she wasn't all too thrilled to hear about it, but I figured she deserved to know. Told her the whole story.
And do you think that maybe you'll be able to get some support through her? I mean, do you think that she'll at least be there for you to help you through this?
No. I mean, maybe a little bit here and there. I mean, we're definitely communicating on the phone on occasion.
You guys
Just,
were together for a really long time, right?
12 years or so, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Scott, I hope that you're able to get whatever help it is that you need.
Thank you.
Other thing, I had one other random ass question for you.
Sure, hit me.
The farts.
Oh, yeah.
You're such a gassy dude. Like, is that like a condition, or were you just trying to fuck with us?
Are you kidding me? What? How that was gross, right? I mean, that was a few days there, going. For some reason, I think it's all this anxiety with all this stuff going on. I've got, sometimes you may have heard of this or perhaps not, but your, this idea called the second brain, which is your digestive system, because it's your
Mm-hmm.
second most, you know what I'm talking about?
I know
Very,
exactly what you're talking about.
and this anxiety, the thing is it's been making like just a wreck of my appetite and yeah, it's just been behaving poorly. Plus I've been
People
like,
with this thing of anxiety. I just didn't know if maybe you were fucking with us. Some people can fart on command, and like, I don't
no
know.
way, man.
The
No, that
meeting
was,
had a back up on and fart, and we're in like this tight enclosed area, and I'm trying to
well,
like, I was getting busy.
well, there's an accomplishment for me.
I'm
Hey, one for me.
just saying. I'm serious.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was eating haddock chowder every day for about 2 weeks. Again, it was kind of involuntary. So, and it's also been a very recent thing too. So, but what
Maybe
it's
if you
worth.
see Anne again,
Yeah, she actually experienced one of those. She did visit me a couple of days before that, and she experienced one. She was just, oh my god. She basically like fled.
I just wanted to make sure you were still alive and do kind of a follow up.
I have a question for you before you go, by the way,
Uh-oh.
if you don't mind. I didn't mean to.
Is it about the police?
Yes. I
Well, I
mean,
mean, here's the thing, Scott. If you're not doing anything fucked up, you shouldn't have anything to worry about, right?
well, I mean, the worst thing I've done since we've spoken was been on like a chat room and just for these ridiculous fake women, and just because I don't know, I have this urge to use language. I'm really known to speak to very often. Certain women I've chosen to be sweet with, certain ones I've like that have kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I've used like I don't know, somewhat rude language, but not like
What would you say by rude? Give me just a rough idea.
not nothing like violent.
Well, I mean, just in the spirit of the openness and understanding, it's interesting, in all honesty. What would you say, like, some of the nicest you've said out of this week and some of the rougher things you've said this week?
Nicer things and the rougher things. Is that what you said?
Well, you said some pretty rough stuff, like not threatening, but like,
Just like humiliating kind of stuff. That's about as it got. Well, there's not really much photos on this particular chat site. There's like these tiny little photos. You can barely see who they supposedly are, and whatever. It's just the whole thing. I thought it was like a local hookup site for adults, but apparently it's not. And so I felt manipulated. So I started saying stuff like, you know, she's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to fuck you in the mouth, tell your parents, stay for dinner, and leave." Things like that. Like just rude. Just to see, because I get the distinct feeling that it was not females I was speaking with.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing you have to consider. Like, if you're going to do this whole online thing,
Yeah.
I am living proof that you don't know who's at the other end.
Right. Well, let's put it this way. I've got I was actually just speaking with my pardon me, the white noise there. I just washed my hands. Let me just wipe them off here and get the phone back on proper.
You're not masturbating to the sound of my voice, are you?
No, I just took a shit, dude.
So first you fart when we're interviewing you, and now you shit.
Well, you gotta take a shit, man.
Something about my voice, like, fucks with your bowels, man.
Well, not really. You just actually sort of woke me up when you called, so I'm keeping a very odd schedule lately, so.
I mean, you're up super late, dude.
Yeah, well, I usually used to be, but I don't know. I've just been, like, sleeping every couple hours or so. I've got some pretty bad, like, digestive issues going on. Well, you were on something there for a minute there, and I think I threw you off. I'm sorry about the whole bathroom incident, if that puts you off at all.
No, it's just like the whole online thing is not a safe thing, dude. I mean, it's especially not safe for 13-year-old girls, and I want to make sure that I'm really clear that, yeah, it was a decoy this time. If you talk to people in the future, it's very likely to be a decoy. But real lilies are out there, and of course they're going to tell you I'm grown and I can make my own decisions. They're rebellious, and they're going through shit. Oftentimes their parents are abusive, and they're just pushing away from everything that they can push away from. And they're very easily manipulated. That's one other thing, actually. Now that I get talking about this, you said one sentence that I think was the most shocking thing I heard you actually say in the whole interview. And it bothered me for a couple of days after. Like, I re-listened to it and re-listened to it, and tried to think of any other possible way you could have meant it. Because I always try to put myself in the other person's shoes and just see something from a well-rounded point of view. But you said that you're something about that age group. You're enamored with them. They're very impressionable.
Is that an actual quote?
That is an actual quote, sir.
I used the word impressionable?
Yes, sir. If you want, I can play it well when it's on.
No, that's just fine. You don't need to. That's fine. I trust you.
But that's an exact quote. Those words in that order, in that time frame. And it was while you were handing me your ID. It was right after I had gotten it from you and was handing it back, and you were putting it back into your wallet. You said there's something about that age group that I'm enamored with. And enamored is a direct quote. Like, this whole thing is a direct quote. There's something about that age group that I'm enamored with. They're very impressionable.
The impressionable part doesn't sound familiar. Well, I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. I consider being 14, which supposedly Lily is just about, that, and just, around that age period, my experiences at that period of my life, really, had a strong impact on the trajectory of the rest of my life. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, this is not, again, I'm not trying to rationalize anything. I thought I was encountering someone who was desperate for something good. And, all I asked for specifically I did mention things, of course, but what I actually envisioned here in this party room was just someone to hug and like make them feel like they're okay and like sleep well. That's pretty much what because I was very neglected at that point in my life.
Right, but you can see why it's very hard for me to believe that that was your intent. I'm not saying that you wouldn't have tried to make her feel comfortable. I'm not saying that you wouldn't have hugged her.
Yes.
But it's going to be very hard to convince me that you didn't want to have sex with her.
Oh, it's impossible because I obviously did. I obviously did, but it wasn't mandatory.
Well, no, but just because it's not mandatory doesn't mean it's even close to being right. You know,
I
at 13,
know.
angry at the world, she's very likely to make a bad choice.
Right.
Extraordinarily likely to make a bad choice. And to be really forthcoming when you said that quote, and when I've listened back to it over and over and wrapped my mind around it, to me, what I got from that is that you're very much so into, I don't want to call you a pedophile because, again, a pedophile is prepubescent.
Indeed.
You're into young teenage girls. I'm just taking this is my impression from that statement, is that you're very much so into that age range of girls, and that you like having the power to leave an impression on them that they will carry for the rest of their life.
I'll tell you what I'm into, to tell you the truth, because I've never given that much thought. I'm into my own person, my own 14-year-old person. That's what I'm into. And I'm 47 now, and I don't like it as much as being 14.
I mean, I think anybody could understand that. You know, at 14, if things are okay in your life, it's a pretty decent time. I mean, outside of sexual confusion and puberty and those kind of things, which can be pretty tough, but, you know, overall, you're not worrying about paying the mortgage, you're not worried about keeping a job, you're not worried about your kids, you're not worried about all the other things that
Hopefully not, if you got a roof over your head.
about, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I do. Sure do.
But I hope you really do try to reconcile the notion that regardless of the intentions behind it, sex with a girl that age is going to be detrimental to her.
Right, well...
It's not going to help her. It's not.
Excuse me.
Someday she's going to shame herself for it. It may take a while, but believe me, she will.
That's sad, man.
Because it's you, but it's because she was 13 and had sex with a 47-year-old man. Not specifically you, but anybody.
Sure.
She's going to feel shame in that at some point. She's going to become an adult and go, this isn't normal, and that's gross, and what the fuck?
I mean, I really have no trouble I don't really disagree with anything you're telling me, because you're enlightening me somewhat here. I mean, you do recall, like, one of the first things I had to say in our discourse. I'm getting another nosebleed here, jeez. The sad situation of my next door neighbor, and that was horrible. So, I mean, that should have been, I should have figured it out by then already. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm sorry, I heard a funny noise. I didn't know what that was. So, I mean, I get it, I get it. I'm just this person who is flailing, and just, I don't know. Everyone seems to, not like me anymore. And, yeah, whatever.
Are you drinking a lot? I mean, but what you're saying is an important thing. Like, it obviously bothers you. You're saying that, people around you don't like you very much anymore, which tells me that at one point you felt that they did, and you don't feel that they do now. I mean, do you think there's anything in your behavior that has changed in that time period?
Well, yes, that's part of it, but I mean, part of it too is because I moved to Bangor, and all my friends or left behind. And I don't make friends very easily, so there's
Right.
that. My health problems stem from excessive drinking.
That was going to be my next question, but I'll let you finish what you're saying first.
I have pretty serious liver problems. That's what I was referencing about the dying bit.
Yep.
I just went to just previous to this incident, went to the ER to detox, and they sent me to this facility, and they bungled it so horribly it was ridiculous. And it sent me back like full-fledged. Like, well, actually, the difference being now I'm not buying whiskey anymore, just beer, to try to keep it down a notch, to say the least. I was at the ER. Excuse me, got this throat thing. I was at the ER. I didn't feel particularly buzzed. It just felt odd. They took a blood sample, and my blood alcohol level was 0.36. Now you and I both know that you can't go too much further without hitting the wall. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
that's serious. And the fact that you
yeah,
didn't feel that drunk is even more, I guess, a bit of a shock. I'll tell you the truth. One of the other reasons that, I was curious about whether you were actually dying, and I guess more specifically, how that played into your decision making. But you know what I do for a living. I'm pretty
yeah,
good at my research, and I came across Anna and looked
you
at the
did,
photos. Well, I haven't spoken with her, and I don't have any intent of speaking with her.
okay.
But I came across her, and I went through the photos, and I can't help but notice the shocking difference in just a couple of years in your images.
In my what?
In the images of you, in the photos of you.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's I'm in rapid decline. It feels like, and it's frightening as heck.
Well, I hope that you're able to get the drinking under wraps. I don't know how much maybe drinking plays into your decision making, but I don't really feel like it's an acceptable reason, even if you're pissed drunk or not. But I don't know if it was a factor or if it wasn't a factor. But
I own it, man. Don't worry.
Scott,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go. I hope that you're able to get the help that you need. If you are interested in any kind of sex counseling services, let me know, and I will send you a number.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right,
All right.
Scott, take care.
You too. You too,
Bye-bye.
sir.